Yes, the Third Testament by Danish author Martinus contains a lot of symbols made by Martinus. Different symbols, as you see here, with a specific meaning. I cannot go into detail here, but we look at the symbols like that. And the main symbols, through the initiation of darkness, hell or Armageddon, and the front cover on the Third Testament. This is the back cover, and this is the front cover. The finished human being in God's image after his likeness. This is symbol number 23, and this is symbol number 19. And here we can see life's own glorious justification of the darkness in the world. The cosmic symbols form an essential part of the Third Testament. In the introduction to the symbol books entitled The Eternal World Picture, Martinus presents the purpose of his work in the following way. And we will take this in a later video. The Eternal World Picture, I think it's this symbol. Symbol number 11. We can run through the pages and find symbol number 11. Yes, here. The eternal world picture, the living being two, the eternal Godhead and the eternal sons of God. Symbol number 11. Yes. What I will read in this little video is here. Martinus' ability to experience cosmically. And here is a picture of Martinus, 44 years old, in 1935, when he published the first book of life, Livets Bog in Danish, the Book of Life, 1 to 7, and the main work in the Third Testament. Martinus writes, "As I have already related, my spiritual mission began with several psychic experiences, the particular structure of which was something entirely private to myself alone. What proved to be of significance to other people was the fact that they left me in a state in which I was able to receive far-reaching knowledge about the whole universe. In fact, even the divine world plan was completely laid out before my sensing faculty and became awake day consciousness. I was granted the faculty to sense things that it was impossible to experience through mere physical sensing. I saw how every limited thing, irrespective of whatever size it might occupy, revealed infinity and thereby eternity. Eternity thus became visible as the fixed point, while time and thereby space were whatever was moving. As I was thus conscious in eternity, I became identical with what was absolute and everlasting, and I saw all things from this absoluteness and everlastingness. As I had become conscious in eternity and was identical with immortality, I lived beyond any concept of time. I lived both before and after anything whatsoever, and could thus see both its Alpha and its Omega, its beginning and its conclusion. That is the whole of its life course. And it is this experiencing faculty that in my main work, Livets Bog, the Book of Life, I have called cosmic consciousness, just as I have called the descriptions of the details of life seen from this observation faculty cosmic analysis. These cosmic analyses of mine are thus the same as observations made possible as a result of my liberation from time and space. My psychic experiences were a process that, in a manner of speaking, suddenly brought about this liberation in my consciousness. I had experienced an initiation. It was through this process that a change took place in my consciousness. Whereas before I had only been conscious in a certain time and a certain space, I had now become in a certain way conscious in all times and in all spaces. Whereas my consciousness before this experience of mine was an expression of local consciousness, it had now become an expression of universal consciousness. And after this change in consciousness, I had no problem in finding my bearings with respect to the fate of the living being and thereby the fate of terrestrial mankind. It was no problem for me to see that the whole ocean of sufferings that terrestrial human beings are in the midst of is exclusively due to the fact that they are still not mentally liberated. They are still bound by time, by space, and by matter. Their view of life and the world has therefore nothing to do with actual eternal life or the real world plan. At the very most, it constitutes merely the view of a local area of the universe. But to know or sense only a local area and to believe it to be the whole is the same as to live under an illusion. And to live under illusions is in turn to live in error. And because a life based on errors can give rise only to disappointments, we have arrived at the very cause of terrestrial mankind's daily existence, being a life of disappointment, sorrow, and suffering. Quoted from the first chapter of the article Mental Sovereignty, English Cosmos number 1, 2003. And we will have a remark here. No faith-based community, sect, or association. As my work, that is to say, the first volume of Livets Bog, the Book of Life, my lectures and the study groups throughout the country that are based on them, has begun to awaken an interest and create a movement. It is in this respect absolutely necessary that this movement is not led astray into limiting, encasing, or crystallizing itself in a faith-based community, sect, or association, thereby having a narrow-minded monopoly on the one and only road to salvation. This was written in 1933 and is a quotation from an article entitled "To the Readers" in the first issue of Cosmos, the official magazine of the Martinus Institute of Spiritual Science. Yes. Go to next video and we will discuss or read more about Martinus' cosmic symbols. Thank you.